outside the narrowest limits of national security. So it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was a great man. And this was the President of the United States warning the American people. And no one heeded this warning, and what has transpired is exactly what John F. Kennedy stated in this speech. Exactly. I mean, everything that has transpired from this warning has now come true to the lack of participation of the American citizens in following what this government is doing. And now we have the scenario. Now we have the takeover. We have the corruption. We're not making this up. This came from the President of the United States. So keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this show is verifying what's put out there. What's put out there by very, very credible people, including presidents. If the President of the United States, who was murdered by these criminals, okay, for bringing this information out, amongst other things in which he's done, okay, and some of his other actions, this is why. This is why all of this is taking place. It was recognized back in 1963, ladies and gentlemen, 1963, okay? This was before he was murdered, he gave this speech. So this is out there. This information is out there. It's just incredible, absolutely incredible, that no one takes heed to any of these warnings. It really is. And we're out there doing what he requested so many years ago, to inform the general public, to make the general public aware of what is now happening. This should have been done at that time, okay? Unfortunately, this was not the case. This was not to happen, and now we are in the mess that we have, right now. So it's just unbelievable that we have to suffer through this, and I hope that part of this show tonight is informative. I hope that some of the information that we bring out to you is, in fact, informative. We will be discussing next week directed energy weapons and some more of the community targeting, because I think it's very, very important how targets and non-citizens understand what is going on in this country. It's very, very important. And we need to understand that President Obama is not for the people. Okay? I mean, this is what we have. We really have a serious issue going on. Bad Baby, do you have any comment on this?
Well, I just want people to understand that the way this is laid out and systematically is for when someone becomes a target, they're slandered. Lies are made up about them, and because it's people that have authority, law enforcement, community leaders, or whoever that's involved in your harassment, people tend to believe it. I've had people that have known me for over 30 years, even people I was a supervisor for 10 years, that I took care of after my plant closed, that because it was a person that came and flashed a badge, believed this. So if someone's telling you that they're targeted and you're hearing all these lies, look into your heart and know, look at your heart first and how you knew this person before you believe just because this person has a badge or whoever they are, what you're being told about them. Give them a chance to defend themselves, because it's just horrendous what they do to slander people, to get people convinced that you're the bad guy. It's very, very well organized, and it's horrible. Horrible.
Absolutely. I want to bring this. He's from another president. Okay, here's another admission by a U.S. president, Bill Clinton. Okay, another crime family, Bush Clinton crime family criminal. Okay, and this was his admission about the MK Ultra experiment. So when people say that you're not being targeted and you're crazy, okay, because a lot of people out there get that and wind up in jail or institutionalized for making these claims that are really happening to you. Here's another mealy mouth admitting that MK Ultra existed and people were being targeted. Here you go.
Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. Some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. The United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities. And the government...
As a target, that statement was so worthless and meaningless, and that apology so feeble, it's not even funny. Okay? Now, these programs are still taking place in this world, ladies and gentlemen. These genocidal programs and targeting of American citizens are still in place. Not one prosecution, not one arrest, and they're still taking place. These politicians, as I've said before, are criminals. They need to be arrested, and this is the only way that we're going to be able to take back our country is to remove the criminals from our government and from our society. These criminals are in your towns, ladies and gentlemen. They are working part of this New World Order. They are doing this routine. They are doing the spying. They are working out at their homes and allowing other people and entities into their homes to target people, whether it's an apartment building, whether it's an airport, whether you're in a house, whether you're on a boat. Doesn't matter where you are. They can target you not only through community targeting, ladies and gentlemen, but they can target you by private satellite companies using cell phones. And we will discuss much more of this on the next show. And we want to thank you for coming on to Freedom Fighters for America Radio tonight at Take Back America series. And we're going to open the board now to see if anybody's got any questions. If you are on the telephone, just hit *8 on your phone and we'll unmute you. And you can ask any questions that you want. Okay, do we have anybody who has any questions tonight? They just hit *8 on your phone, and we'll unmute the board, and you can ask any questions that you want to ask. Okay.
Well, I have a comment here, Independence. I feel gang stalking has stayed in the dark far too long. We need to bring it to the light and to the public awareness. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't care. That hasn't happened to me. It's happening to others. Every day more and more people are becoming targeted individuals. I actually ran into a lady in the grocery store one day, and I told her I didn't want to do a charge because I didn't like doing business out in public being a target. And she asked me what a target was, and I told her what was happening. And she said, well, that's happening to me, and I was wondering what was going on.
Well,
so, I mean, it shows you how widespread this is if you can just accidentally run into a target in the store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't, you see, a big portion of this problem is people don't know that they're being targeted. They don't understand this information. There's no one out there to explain it to them. I mean, there are some people out there explaining this. I mean, we're trying to do that right now as we speak, and there are other groups out there that are trying to help, targeted individuals. There are other blogs and websites out there trying to educate people, but people think that, if they're not part of, if they're not involved in this, okay, they don't care. They seem to want to take this neutral, this neutral side of things. Now, what we're trying to explain here is there is no neutral side, ladies and gentlemen. This is literally good versus evil, or vice versa, because they're coming after anything that's good. Okay, this is their plan. So, this conspiracy theory, quote unquote, is not a theory at all. It's a fact. It's going on. There are victims of it. There are witnesses to it. People cannot take their evidence, and there's many people who have evidence, ladies and gentlemen, that cannot take their evidence into a courtroom. They can't have a day in court. Why? Because President Obama, the puppet, and Bush, and some of the other past presidents have made sure that this criminality stays in place. They keep it in place under state secrecy laws. Meanwhile, I'll tell you right now, if you are a target and you're being targeted with lasers, for example, microwave laser pulse weapons, and you're looking out your window or step outside your place at night, you'll